So by the time you're 70, an average person will have lost how many pounds of skin? By the time you're 70 years old, how many pounds of skin will you have lost?
150 pounds.
50.
It's less than 150 pounds, but that's already pretty gross, isn't it?
50.
45.
More than 55,
12.
65.
75.
more than 75 pounds of dead skin,
80.
more than 80,
95.
more than 95,
100.
just a little bit more than 100.
105.
Who said, sorry?
110.
Close enough, it's 105. Well done, sir.
said 15. My man said 15.
Did you? Well done. Yeah, you get the prize, and that gentleman, the body warmer, he gets the prize. Right then, hands up if you're a good person. Hands up if you're a good person.
Yeah.
Hands up if you're a good person.
I've been here.
Right, how old are you?
15.
Could you have been 16?
I'm
Are
16.
you 16? Are you a good person?
Yeah.
Wow, come on then, let's come prove it to me. I'm going to give you this if you can. What's your name?
Brandon.
Brandon. Hi Brandon, I'm Bob. Take a stand on the step there. Okay, so Brandon said that he is a good person. Brandon, if you're a good person, I'm going to give you this. Is that okay?
That's all fair, mate.
Right, so I'm going to ask you some questions, Brandon.
Yeah.
And then if you pass the test, I'll give you this.
Yeah.
But if you fail the test,
Yeah.
I'll give you another prize instead.
Oh,
yeah?
cool.
Is that okay? Right, Brandon, are you going to be honest with me? Because if you're not honest with me, the
I
questions
will
won't
be
work.
honest with you, mate. Don't worry about
You
it.
will get, so Brandon's going to be honest, and I'm going to ask you some of these questions. Who are you with today, Brandon?
Two friends. I don't know who one got. Oh, two friends.
Two friends, Brandon, and would they say that you're a good person?
No. person.
No?
No.
So you're not really friends then, are you? Blimey, okay. Brandon, your friends are not with you, but never mind. This is just you and me for the moment, okay? So I'm going to ask you questions, Brandon, and you're going to answer them. Would you say that you're open-minded, you're willing to listen to other people's opinions?
To be fair, quite a bit, yeah.
Yeah, okay. And would you say that you think logically, you think rationally?
Yeah.
Okay, that'd be grand, okay. I'm going to ask Brandon questions, he's going to do the talking. Brandon, sometimes people around you might not be able to hear you, so I'll repeat what you've said so that they can hear it, okay? Everyone who's listening, you're listening to hear whether Brandon wins this £5 note, apply the questions to yourselves, okay? So Brandon, in your whole life, think back as far as you can, try and put a number on the number of lies you've told in your whole life. How many would that be?
Probably like 400, yeah.
Now 400, okay. And what do you call, Brandon, somebody who tells a lie?
A knee.
Neat. Okay, I don't know what that means. I'd use a word that rhymes with fire. Do you know what that word might be?
Liar.
Yeah, okay, brilliant. So if I lied to you, you'd say Bob's a neat, but you might have to translate it into liar. Okay. All right. Brandon, in your whole life, as far back as you can remember, have you ever taken something that didn't belong to you?
Yeah. One or two times, yeah.
One or two times. What do you call somebody?
A thief.
A thief. Okay, so if you take something that doesn't belong to you, you're a thief. If I did that
Yeah.
to you, you'd say, Bob, don't be a thief.
Yeah.
Okay, Brandon. Third question then. Have you ever said the name of God or Jesus as an exclamation, if you like stub your toe or hurt yourself? You said OMG or something like that.
No, you haven't. No, I haven't.
I'm not asking you,
Brandon. I am
Brandon's
against that.
Brandon's doing the questions, isn't he? Okay, so what's the answer, Brandon?
No, I don't like using the...
You never done that? Oh, well done. That's pretty good. Okay, Brandon. Have you ever let your parents down? Have you ever disappointed them, dishonoured them in any way?
I feel like I have, but when I asked my mum about it, she says that I'm still a favourite.
Oh, that's because your parents.
alright.
Is she around here, Brandon? Are you?
No, my mum's not in town today.
All right, okay, but you felt that you had, and probably your mum probably did she teach you not to lie?
She's always told me not to lie.
Okay,
yeah.
so and you had told me that you have lied, so you have let her down because you did something
Yeah,
that
I
she told you not to do.
believe myself that I have.
Okay, brilliant. So Brandon's been very honest with me, and he's told me that he is, and I'm not judging you by the way because I failed this test much worse than you failed it so far. But Brandon's told me that he's a liar. He's told me that he's a thief, and he's told me that he's let down his parents by doing those things. Okay. So thanks for sticking with me. A few more questions could get a little bit harder now, Brandon, but stick with me. Okay. So if you're in front of God and he's judging you, is he going to find you innocent or guilty? Tell me the truth. What do you think?
I think you're going to find me innocent because he believes that everyone deserves a second chance.
Okay, Brandon says that God's going to find him innocent because he believes everybody deserves a second chance. So that sounds reasonable, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But let me ask you, Brandon. Let's say there's somebody who's committed a murder and they're in front of a human judge and they're found guilty of it, and the judge says, do you know what? I think everyone deserves a second chance, and he lets him off. Is that judge a good judge or a bad judge? Not forgiving, don't think about that. Is he a good judge or a bad judge?
A bad judge.
He's a bad judge, isn't he?
Something such as murder is taking someone else's life. It's a lot
Yeah.
different to taking something from that.
It is, but the principle in terms of having broken the law, Brandon has just said that taking a life is a bigger thing than other laws that we're talking about, and he's right there. But the principle is that they're all the law, okay? And there's always a judge, and a judge is a judge. So if God is just, he's got to be even more just than a human judge, isn't he?
Yeah.
And so he's not going to let you off if you have done the crime. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess so.
So if you're guilty, then Brandon, is he going to let you free, or is he going to send you to punishment?
I'm going to switch to punishment.
Okay, and in God's economy, that's called hell.
Yeah.
So does that concern you, Brandon? Because what you told me that you said you wouldn't be going to hell if you died today.
It does concern me a bit.
It does concern you, and it should do, shouldn't it? Because who wants to go to hell? Right, and if you've been listening to this, maybe it's concerning you too. So God has to be perfectly just, but he's also loving. And he doesn't want to send you to hell, Brandon,
Yeah.
okay? So he's got this problem. How do I be just and loving to Brandon and everyone else at the same time?
I mean,
do you know what he's done to solve both parts of that problem?
What?
Shall I tell you?
Yeah.
Okay, so God himself comes down to earth. We looked at 3 or 4 of the 10 commandments, and he didn't break any of those commandments in his life. When he lived, what he did, what he said, what he thought, he didn't break any of them.
When he left, everyone else did.
Well, let me finish. So you did. You told me about the things that you've broken, and if people are thinking about it, they're thinking about the things that they've broken. He didn't break the law in any way, shape, or form. And at the end of his life, he voluntarily laid it down and took a punishment. And that's the punishment that you and I and everyone else who's broken the law would get. So he's taken a punishment for us. Then he after he died, he rose to life again, and he offers to pay for your punishment freely. Okay. So it's as if you're in that courtroom, Brandon, and I'm there with you, and that we're all in there together, and we've all been found guilty of breaking the law. We are criminals in God's sight, and the fine is too big for us to pay. We can't do it ourselves, okay? So we're in big trouble. But Jesus comes in, because he's already paid the penalty for us, and he says it's okay, because I've paid the penalty for Brandon or Bob or for whoever, okay? But it's one important thing, Brandon, and this is it. For us to receive that free gift, it's a bit like a Christmas present underneath the Christmas tree. If you leave it wrapped up, you'll never know what's inside it, and you'll never have what's in it, will you? But if you unwrap it and take it and have it as yours, then the present's yours. 2 things we need to do, Brandon, to accept this free gift. The first one is to say sorry. There's a long word called repent that goes with that, but it just means to realise that we are lawbreakers before God, all of us, and we're sorry about that. And the second thing is to really believe that there's nothing we can do about it. There's nothing that you and I can do about it, and that Jesus did it all himself. And if we live like that and believe in that, then that forgiveness is ours. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Does what I've said make sense to you?
Just about, yeah.
And does it seem logical, rational? Do you believe it to be true?
Yeah.
Okay. And if you did believe it to be true, Brandon, what would be the day in which, what would be the time when you should do those 2 things of realising what you are, saying sorry, and trusting in Jesus? When would be the right time?
As soon as possible.
It would be as soon as possible, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
If I'm offering you £1 million, you're not going to say, I'll come back tomorrow and pick up my £1 million, are you? Well, God is offering you eternal life, so why wouldn't you take it now? It makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Right, if you're listening in, then Brandon's told me that he is not a good person. He's failed the test, just like I failed the test. And so he hasn't won this £5 note. He has won a backup prize, which we're going to give him anyway, but we've also talked about the fact that forgiveness for us from God is a free gift. It's a gift of grace. So I'm going to give this to you anyway, Brandon, so that I hope that when you look at it, okay, you'll remember that God gives forgiveness as a free gift. And I'd like everyone else to think about what we've talked about today and apply it to their own hearts. So, Brandon, give a big round of applause for Brandon. Thank you very much, Brandon. That's yours. Stick around. If you've been listening to what we've said today and you've been applying it to your own hearts and minds, and you're thinking, well, that makes sense, or I've got any questions, stick around and talk to us.